Good morning and welcome to Watson Lake. We are up in Prescott, Arizona, starting our adventure at the beautiful Watson Lake, which is this really cool lake that is just surrounded by boulders, and there's a nice easy trail that then connects to this playground of rocks. So we're doing a little bit of a mix of a nice run, power hike in the rocks, and fun fact. Ooh, hello. This was the site of my very first 33K, my one and only live trail race, because I don't do races. But this was my site. It was post-COVID, it was raining, it was freezing, but it was an amazing experience, and I've always loved playing up here, so that is what we're gonna do. Let's go play. One of my favorite things about this trail is there's signs all over the place that say follow the white dots and have fun. There are so many like spur trails and ways you can get around, but they just mark the rocks with little white dots. So sometimes you go a different route than you think because you follow a different white dot. But I did realize when I ran my 33K here how like scary that can be for some people. I always, well, if you didn't figure it out, I have a very good sense of direction. I'm blessed that way. I innately know where I'm at and where I'm going. Thank you, Dad. But there were a lot of people on that race because it was cold and wet and windy that day, and they were just scared back in one of the canyons because they didn't know they were going the right way. So as fun as I find it, I do recognize that these kind of trails can be a little intimidating for people, but I think they're fun, technical, challenging, but fun. Whew, not much running in this section. I forgot socks today, so I pulled over thinking I had a rock in my shoe that was like just murdering me. No. Gotta try to get those out because they are poking through the bottom of my shoe into my feet. All right, we are out of follow the dots and have fun. We definitely went a different way than I thought. As with all follow the white dot and have fun runs. Yeah, but that's okay. It's still fun, and I actually ended up timing it perfectly. We're back on the trail that heads back around to my car. About 2 miles, and we'll be done. So, perfectly timed. Cheers. Just ran up on my biggest pet peeve, and now I'm kind of stuck for probably like a quarter mile. As long as they don't go my way. There's a couple with their dogs off leash. They have seen me, and they still have yet to put their dogs back on leash. And I can't run past them because they have multiple dogs. Wow. Bald eagles are nesting right now. Oh my god, that's stunning. Alright, let me catch you up because that was 2 chaotic clips. So first of all, a runner behind me. I didn't realize there was one. Heard what I said to the camera. And as he passed me and then passed those people, I heard him yell, "Put your dogs on leash. This is an off-leash area. People are trying to pass you." And they put their dogs on leash. And I was like, yes. But then the second I got past them, there's all these signs that say bald eagle nesting observed. And on the way here, I hadn't seen them. But then they took off from the trees and they dove down to the water. It was such a beautiful moment. I don't know if the GoPro got it. GoPro's not known for distance. But it was so beautiful. It was just one of those moments that just, yeah, was stunning. And we only have less than a mile left now. So, run is going well. Oh, feels good. And yeah, it's like 32 degrees and I've got shorts on. Everybody's like, aren't you cold? No, I'm sweating actually. I'm sweating. The truck is up there. On the run, we came over the lake just to walk a little bit in the warm sunshine. It is just so stunning here. Truly, this lake is one of my favorite places. If you're in the Prescott area, it's definitely a must-see. I even think it's a must-see just to come to Prescott. This time of year, you have fall with the trees, and then all of this behind me is all playable. So I obviously took a bit more runnable route, but that whole area is just rocks and boulders and follow the white dots and have fun. And it is just a super fun day. I don't think I've ever ran the same route or hiked the same route twice, which makes it just super fun. And it's just so stunning, all these rocks, like and these boulders, like you just don't see that around here. So yeah, highly recommend. Now we're just gonna enjoy the lake for just a minute, and then we are headed up a little bit further north to a ghost town.
It's 3.2 from the driveway of my house to your apartment where I am waiting now. Come on, don't think night's young. Let's go. NYC, Portland, Austin, Anaheim. Maybe not Anaheim. Keep an open mind. I'm just saying, baby, let's go. I don't care.
Welcome to Jerome, Arizona. Jerome is known as a real live ghost town, but don't let that name fool you. It is totally not anymore. Jerome has some really cool history. It was founded in 1876. Quickly became the 5th largest city in the state of Arizona thanks to the top producing copper mine that over the course of its production 3 million pounds of copper came from these hills around us. It was also known as the wickedest town in the West thanks to its red light district that rivals the best of Colorado. By 1953, the mine was no longer producing and Jerome quickly turned into a real life ghost town. But in 1976, thankfully, it was added to the National Historic Register. So people started to move back, restore some of the buildings, and nowadays it is a thriving hub of wineries and restaurants and pottery places and creative small businesses, and it really does make for a fun way to explore Arizona history, see amazing vistas and views, but then also support small local businesses and, you know, have a wine day. So I mentioned that this was known as a city on a hill. And if you can tell behind me, this is the famous sliding jail. A lot of Jerome was lost to a huge fire, but nowadays, much of it is lost to it literally sliding down the hill. So many of these buildings, especially the ones further out, are now closed, and they're trying to get them structurally sound enough to stay. But over the years, we've definitely lost quite a few to literally just sliding down the hill. So let's go take a little bit of a walk and just see what there is to see, show you around some of my favorite places. I'll show you some restaurants if you don't have a dog. I will say Jerome isn't super dog friendly like many small cities. It doesn't really have a lot of outdoor seating. So there's a few places that I will point out, and I'll leave down below if I had a dog what I would do, and if I didn't have a dog with me what I would do day-wise or day trip here, just so that you guys can create your own little itinerary based on whether you, come here, he's melted down there, whether you have a furry companion or not. So let's go. A super cute fact, this was Feeney's very first trip. I will insert adorable adventure photo here, and we're gonna go recreate that once these kids pass me. Obviously, with it being on the city on the hill, you do also walk up and down a lot of hills, so just be prepared for that. Get your walking legs on, because it's definitely more of a walking than a driving town. So if you've ever Googled Jerome, or you Googled Jerome because of this video, this is going to be the building that you most likely see. It is the most popular building, and it's just such a cool building because it's only the facade left and you can see the beautiful rim, but then you can also see Mount Humphreys behind it. So it does make a stunning spot for professional photographers. If you're traveling alone, this is actually a really good place that you can use to get photos. You can set up your tripod with no problem because it's not a street that people use, and not a lot of people come down here. Even though it's like one of the most popular buildings, it is a little bit challenging to find because it's all the way at the bottom of the hill, kind of near the sliding jail. So if you find the sliding jail, walk around the corner, and this is where that one is. So we're gonna head back up now to see some of the other ruins of the buildings that are just in the little downtown, which is where all the shops and all of that fun stuff is, before we head up one more street to show you a few of the restaurants that are up there and just some of the views and the beautiful old houses. Walk up the hill. The other big building that this is known for is the old bank, which is still standing-ish. And by ish, I mean it's got walls, no ceiling, but it's really cool to see. And you actually can rent it to have events in the main hall, which I think is so cool, and I think would be a great spot for a wedding. A little late in the day for me to get coffee, but that coffee shop you can actually walk in with your dog if you want a coffee, and it's a really good coffee too. Also really good cinnamon rolls if I remember correctly. In fact, there are quite a few stores that allow dogs inside. They'll have water bowls outside and a little sign on their door that say dogs are welcome. So every time I come here, there's like a new shop or something different or something's moved, so I can't really tell you which ones do and don't, but you can easily figure it out. And if you're with somebody, just ask. A lot of the people will very kindly tell you yes or no. If we go. Sorry, it's very hard to film here because there's just so many people and these sidewalks are very narrow. So I'm sorry if it's a little chaotic because I film and then I have to put it down. But I think what I was saying was actually there are quite a few dog-friendly places, but they always change, and some of it is just how busy it is. For food, the Haunted Mansion is dog friendly. I would not recommend it because the patio is tiny, and if you get more than like 1 or 2 dogs in there, they really only can sit under the tables, and it's just really challenging. There's a few wineries that are, and there is a deli that you can grab to-go sandwiches, but if you have a dog, I actually recommend you drop down out of Jerome into Clarkdale. There are so many amazing restaurants that are dog friendly with big patios. And I'm sorry if I'm breathing heavy. It's higher elevation, and yeah, it's a hill, baby. See what I mean? The sidewalk, you can't even walk on it. There's so many people and it's so narrow. That general store is what I was referring to as the deli. It's pet friendly up there. They have snacks and munchies, and you can sit on the patio, and it's just kind of a great little stop. But I have a special stop on the way home scheduled and planned that I'm going to take you to, so we're not going to stop there. But if you're up here and you're hungry, highly recommend the general store if you have a dog. If you do not have a dog, highly recommend Clink Scale, one of the best restaurants I've ever been to, and their bartender is 10 out of 10. So can't recommend that one enough. The Haunted Hamburger is probably the most popular restaurant up here because it's what Jerome is kind of famous for, but go to Clink Scale. The other thing Jerome is known for, besides its ghost tours, its wine tastings, and its old abandoned buildings that are sliding off of the mountain is the Jerome Grand Hotel. I think it's kind of like our version of Disney's Haunted Mansion. We have our very own spooky ghost-ridden hotel up here on the side of the mountain. It is not dog friendly, so I have never stayed there, but there are some dog friendly Airbnbs that I feel like I really do want to splurge once. Maybe like in the winter when it's cold and kind of abandoned up here, just so I can walk around the dark and get all the spooky vibes. Since I can't stay at the haunted hotel, there's probably a haunted house here or two. You know, it was Arizona's wickedest town, so I can imagine some things happened here, and I can imagine there are still some ghosts hanging around Jerome, wanting to spook unknown tourists. Spook us. We're just gonna go spook us. I was doing so well, y'all. I'm back up where my truck is parked. I like to park up on the top of the hill. It's free parking. It's easy to get in and out of versus trying to find parking or paid parking down more in the town. There's a shuttle if you can't walk, but it's a quick like 5-minute walk. And you get to see the remnants of the old mining operation that is no longer working. And yeah, it's all fenced up, so you can't see too much. And the really funny thing about Arizona is you can see even less. Like, I can smell the wood, but I can see so little of it because everything's brown and it just kind of blends in, where in Colorado you'll see it against the green and that kind of helps, but everything's brown and rust colored here, so you can't really see too much, but it's still fun to see up here. And we're gonna do one more little down the hill trip in the truck to show you where the mine shaft is, and there's some mining history down there as well, so let's head on down. Y'all, I had this coat on only because I'm a stupid idiot who didn't bring any sort of purse or bag to hold all my camera stuff, or my wallet, or my keys. I was literally melting at one point. Whew. Oh, that feels much better. This has to come off. Why is head sweaty? That park is really tiny, and that is the busiest I have ever seen it, so we're just gonna tell you about it here, since I couldn't really record without having other people's conversations recorded, and there were children around, and I try not to get people's children in my videos. But anyhow, that is the Audrey Headframe Park, and it's just a cute little mining park that is a little daisy mine. That shaft is 1,900 feet deep, and it is concrete lined, and every 100 feet it has a horizontal shaft, a tunnel. So that took over 4 million tons of ore out, which was almost 1 million tons of copper. So absolutely epic producer right there, just plopped on the side of this hill. That metal structure replaced the wooden head frame in 1981, so that's a little over 40 years old in terms of the structure, but it used to be a wooden head frame, which probably would have been so cool to see. And then you see the little bucket. That is how people went up and down. I cannot even imagine stepping in that. There's just no way. I'm scared of heights, if y'all didn't know. There's just no way that I would ever get in something like that. But it's better than, I guess, like the wooden buckets that I've seen in Colorado. Like, they just straight go in a bucket and just get dropped down. That at least looked relatively sturdy. But that is the Audrey Headframe Park. It is down as you start to exit Jerome, down the windy hills. You'll see a little park sign. Just come on down here. There's actually a little state park as well, not dog friendly, but has some beautiful grounds and beautiful views down here. Other than that, there's not too much down here. But fun little trivia fact is that the Jerome Hill Climb happens every Labor Day weekend, and it starts right around here, and you climb all the way up past where we were in, where we parked, and all the way up the side of the mountain for the Jerome Hill Climb. I've never done it because it's really hot and I don't do well in the heat, but I feel like maybe I should come back and do it once on my own in the winter. Maybe we'll rent that Airbnb once and we'll do our own Jerome Hill Climb, celebrate with a coffee and a cinnamon roll from the little coffee shop. But I am now bordering on hangry. It's time to eat. And so I'm going to stop at my favorite little sneaky hole-in-the-wall spot on the way home, and I will catch you guys there. All right, Mexican is secured. Got a bag here. I've got a to-go quesadilla because I am not borderline hangry anymore. I am straight hangry. Got a to-go drink. Sadly, not a margarita, but you know, can't really do that and drive. But this is Mi Patio, which is located in Cornville Rimrock area, right off the 17, so it is actually one of my favorite places to come after I've done like a hard hike or something in Sedona and grab to-go food on the way home, because it only takes me about an hour and like 30 minutes to get home from here, so it stays relatively warm. I get the enchiladas and they're easily reheatable, but they've got amazing fajitas and carnitas. If I was eating here, that would be what I would be getting, but for now, we are going to get on the road and get home. I hope you had so much fun hanging out with us, going on a run around gorgeous Watson Lake, going up to Jerome. I will have some things to do in Jerome, like I said earlier, in the notes section, just to let you know like where to eat, drink, things like that. If you have a dog or don't have a dog, somebody's getting their vehicle towed. So it's a little wild here, so I'm gonna get out before I get blocked in by this guy. Anyhow, hope you had fun. We'll see you guys on the next adventure, wherever the road may take us.